check out these low calorie, high protein cinnamon buns. I made these before and they were not bad, but I do think they called for some improvements. So I've changed some of the recipes, changed the method a little bit, and let's get into it. Alrighty, so for this recipe, you're gonna need 300 grams of self-raising flour and 500 grams of yogurt for the dough. I'm using low-fat, high-protein Farmers Union yogurt. Not sponsored, I just like it. I think it's really tasty. For the filling, you're gonna need 3 tablespoons of sugar, 2 teaspoons of butter, and 3 tablespoons of cinnamon. And then for the glaze, you're gonna need 2 tablespoons of powdered sugar, the tiniest drop of almond, soy, or oat milk, and then I've just got some extra self-raising, or you could even use plain flour to dust. And you'll also need a pinch of salt for your dough. Okay, so first thing you want to do is you want to get your yogurt, and we're going to mix that together to make our dough. We're going to mix that through until it all starts to come together. It should form like a sticky ball. Now before we tip it out, I'm just going to use our hands to give it a gentle knead in the bowl. You do want a relatively smooth dough. Now we get a little bit of excess flour. We can get this out of the bowl. Alright, and we can start to bring this together. And if you find it's still too wet, just get a little bit more flour. Alright, and now what we're going to do is we're going to roll this out. Flour your rolling pin. Nobody likes a sticky rolling pin. And we're aiming to roll this into a big rectangle. Move it around a little. Alright, so we want to get this actually pretty thin. If you find that it's hard to pick your dough up, you can actually roll it over the rolling pin very loosely. You can use that to flip it over. And we want to get this to about 1/2 centimeter thick. So we do want it quite thin. Fantastic, so your dough should look something like this. And now is the fun part. Alrighty, so we've got our melted butter. We'll add our sugar to that. And our cinnamon as well. Okay, so we want to mix this around until it forms a nice thick paste, and then we are going to spread this out. As it bakes, it will absorb the flavor. Now we're going to roll this. Keep as tight a roll as you possibly can, so you don't want to go too far on one side, but if you get a few tears, that's okay. Don't stress, because eventually, ta-da, it will all roll up and cover itself. Okay, so for the next step, you're going to need a lined baking dish, and we are now going to cut. So you want to cut them into about 5 to 6 centimeter rounds, and cut all the way right to the end. And now we are going to assemble this. We want to get them nice and tightly packed in together. So we should be able to fit 3, depending on the size of your baking dish, you might be able to fit. So we've got our cinnamon rolls ready to go. They look absolutely beautiful. Let's get these in the oven. We're gonna bake these for about 12 to 17 minutes at 180, and then we'll take them out, we'll let them cool, and then we'll glaze them. Check these out. Woo. Let's make our glaze. So for our glaze, all we're gonna need is some powdered sugar and the tiniest little bit of almond milk. Super easy. All you do is you're just gonna add the almond milk to the icing sugar until you've got like a thick paste-like consistency, and trust me, you do not need much. You only need a little drizzle, and that, ooh. And there you have it, low-calorie, high-protein Cinnabons. Hey, let's plate up, and my favorite part, let's taste test.